60 seconds to comply.
I think you'd better do what he says, Mr. Kenny.
You have 60 seconds to comply. This is minute 77.
Part man.
Pod machine. All pod. This minute begins with RoboCop and Lewis driving into the steel mill and ends with Lewis offering RoboCop some form of lunch.
Well, no, RoboCop's already there, just chilling and working on his leg.
That's right.
Oh, I gotta love the prop and mind work with old Peter Weller there going.
It's very Tin Man from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. So yeah, Lewis is coming back from. Well, she says it's from the precinct, but she's got RoboCop's gun. So, did he have like a backup Auto 9 at the precinct, or?
I gotta say, how 90s that car looks, and yet this is the 80s.
Yes.
I know we talked about it before, but it's just amazing to me. Oh yeah, that's the car that kind of shifted cars from 80s boxy cars to 90s slightly less boxy cars.
Yeah, kind of the emergence of the bubble car.
It was the beginning of the end, but it was kind of nice in the middle there, you know. My car is very much like that as well, a Saab 900S, if you're curious.
Yeah, what I love about the this car in particular is because it is kind of deliberately a little bit beaten up just as an aesthetic. You know, paints are chipping. It's got this matte grey paint.
Yeah, the
finish.
matte really gives it this rougher look, and I think matte paint, especially matte black, just picks up all dust and dirt. So it's perfect to make it look a little bit post-apocalyptic, little run down.
And it just merges perfectly in with this particular
this environment.
setting.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh yeah, just oh god, I love this steel mill. Like, I like the rust aesthetic. I like grunge aesthetic. I like this kind of look. I mean, I would kill to shoot at a place like this. I've been trying to shoot at a place like this.
Yeah, if we can find a place like this, hell yeah, sign me up.
A place like this that isn't like condemned, got fences all over and security, and isn't like demolished within seconds.
It's a damn shame. We got our RoboCop costumes, man. We gotta find the right bloody place.
Well, yeah, that's the problem, is that a lot of photographers guard these like freaking they're gold nuggets or something like that, because they're just they're getting harder and harder to find, and a lot of the rundown places are starting to get renovated. So it kind of sucks.
Boo.
You know, South Fremantle Power Station's kind of a bit cliche now.
But yeah, so Lewis just walks right on into the police station. I guess because there's nobody there, doesn't that mean whatever she's doing is more obvious?
That's funny, because it's kind of goes unsaid for the most part, apart from here. But yeah, she goes, I guess we're on strike. You know, it's something that's been building up. But we'll talk about this more next year.
Yeah.
Next season. Like in RoboCop 2, it's almost like the cops never went on strike, and like this just a new thing. But it's it's interesting that the strike happens off screen and it's just mentioned in passing in dialogue, if only just to explain why Lewis can get all this crap and without any she's not being followed or anything.
Yeah. I had a thought there. Oh fuck! Don't you hate when that happens?
But I do like how it sets up this lovely scene that's going to come up in the next minute, where this interplay with like the ratchet gun and like him taking his helmet off. The baby food has a nice connection to his thing.
I found this short little documentary thing on YouTube of a girl who, when she was really little, I can't believe that one of those pool cleaner, the suction thingies, it was that powerful it actually ripped her stomach out from inside of her body. Oh, yeah, so she is about, she'd be about 15 now, I think. And yeah, she survived, but she doesn't have a stomach, so she has this sort of pre-digested stuff that goes directly into her lower internal organs, I suppose.
So she's essentially on the baby food.
She's essentially on the baby food. And but the thing is, human beings need the activity of chewing and eating. So I don't know if it's just like a psychological thing or maybe a neurological thing, but yeah, I mean
I think it might be, yeah.
she chews on food and then she spits it out. So she'll be sitting there like eating whatever, and then there's a bucket, up, spit it out.
Yes.
Whoa!
I've heard of this, yes.
There's
It's,
a Radiolab episode. Yeah, a Radiolab episode of a guy who similar. Well, I mean, not quite so extreme, but there was some injury or surgery, and he was unable to digest food the conventional way for a year or so. And he says at one time he was getting increasingly frustrated and anxious, and he was developing insomnia. And one night he went for a walk, and someone was having a barbecue in their backyard, and it was like a low fence, so you could see straight in. And he just walked over that fence, and he was just turning these steaks over so lovingly. He's like, I'm not going to eat it. It's just, oh, the smell. And then no one caught him and ran away again. But it's just, wow, this compulsion.
yeah, yeah, I said it again, but I'll say it again. Our brains are fucking weird when it comes to shit like that. Like there's the difference between the biological requirement for nutrition and almost the psychological requirement for the stimulus of gaining the nutrition. Like,
Yeah, we're like very limited machines, and we're made for very specific environments and very specific tasks. And so, okay, yes, you have successfully put the nutrients in your body, but you didn't do it the way you evolved to do it. Therefore, your brain doesn't register that as being the correct way, and it's going to consistently badger you until you do it right.
well, I was actually gonna go for the Matrix idea, where like they eat this goop which is nutritionally valuable and gives everything that the body needs. But the way that Cypher got turned is, gotta have that steak, nice and juicy, which has zero nutritional value.
Yeah, I would turn for steak. Yeah.
To quote Demolition Man, do you see any cows around here? So, yeah, 2 post-apocalyptic cyberpunk films. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of our own post-apocalyptic cyber, well, okay, maybe it's not
Well,
post-apocalyptic.
this is
but
apocalypse. This is sort of like Mad Max,
Getting
the
there.
first one. They're getting there. They're not quite there yet.
it's getting
but
apocalyptic.
I actually prefer the pre-apocalypse because I guess there's a framework we recognize. It's our reality, just things are amped up a little bit more. And I think that makes it a little bit scarier and a little bit more tangible. Whereas I think once you get into that kind of okay, yeah, Mad Max. So the first one, you go, oh yeah, I could relate to this. Whereas the other ones, it's just this is a fantasy. It's kind of a sci-fi fantasy situation.
So my headcanon when it comes to the Mad Max films is the first movie is reality, the origin story. That's because it feels like closest to our reality.
Yeah.
Mad Max 2 onwards are tales of this person.
Yeah.
Because the canon never always fully aligns.
Never always.
And that... Yeah, like, how many times has the Interceptor been blown up now?
Yeah.
Did I say 3 times?
I love that, though. I think we live in a world that is so anal about continuity and canon and what's canon, what's not. I don't care. Just do something cool. Bring things back. Get rid of things. I don't know. Shift things around. I don't care.
I think it depends on the franchise and the context. Like, I think long-form episodic narrative, canon is not... It's important, it's not king. Like, you want to keep stepping forward.
Like Twin Peaks is got its own, it's got its internal logic, but oh, okay, this character is a doorknob now. Oh, and this character has come back to life, or maybe they're not alive. I don't know. They're just whatever.
Lynch is pretty much works off dream logic.
Yeah,
all the time.
I admire that. I want more things like that.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine because that's the context. But like, it's versus. That's why I like the idea of Mad Max being more like
Folkloric
tales of a wanderer, like this idea of this guy called Max who just has been traveling what essentially is a post-apocalyptic Australia getting into fun adventures and murderifying a bunch of people. And maybe it's that thing where,
Check out the Mad Max Minute podcast when you're done with this.
it's Rick and Julia.
Yeah. Rick does our graphics for the Instagram, so good stuff.
Shout out to Rick. And so like it also ties into, say, like the incredibly good and underrated Mad Max video game from a couple of years ago as well. It's just another version of that tale.
My favorite version of that kind of dream logic, or just each movie's kind of standalone but kind of connected, is the Good, the Bad, the Ugly series, where you have you got recurring actors, but each time they're given a different name, and you go, well, okay, so they the same person? Is this the same? Well, no idea. It's just kind of a variation on a theme each time, and it's so good, and yeah.
I actually really like that kind of say for example Monty Python movies, where you got this you don't really question it sometimes, which is weird, because you've got this bunch of people, the context works as comedy, and there's just this bunch of people just constantly playing different roles, and you never question it, but it works. It works really well.
Yeah, I think I have been, I'm very much into hard science fiction. I sort of hang around in crowds of people who are into that kind of stuff. And so with my own writing, I feel like I want to be more dreamlike, but I've had it drilled into me to be as logical and scientific as possible.
Well, going back to a constant co-host of this podcast, the MCU.
Yes.
There has been changes of continuity throughout the series, and unless it's like something that has to be addressed, for the most part they just dismiss it.
Yeah.
Like, particularly in the early ones, like there's plot things they just completely abandoned because they just didn't really give a shit to go back to it. Like essentially like the Incredible Hulk film.
Oh, yeah.
In many ways is whatever.
They sort of brought it back, some elements.
Yeah, but that's also comic books to a T, to a certain degree, whereas there's this hyper fixation with the fandom of like, oh, you got to maintain continuity. The continuity in comics is not good.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
How many times has Alfred died, This human butler character has come back from the dead several times after they killed him off. And he's currently dead at the moment, but give it a few years.
And I think the RoboCop franchise essentially became that, especially when it expanded into the animated series, and oh my god, I mean, it's basically the cartoons are what I imagine is playing on television in that world.
Yes, probably not Alpha Commando, but maybe the original one. You could see that as the cartoon background in RoboCop 2.
Yeah. The second one doesn't feel all that. Actually, in the third one as well. Each one of the RoboCop films feels like it's completely unrelated and yet sort of related. I don't know.
I think the jump between 1 and 2 feels more cohesive.
Yeah, they were trying at least.
3 less so, and everything else after that, especially the series, was just like, no, it doesn't feel right. Which is weird when you think about it, because a lot of it still had the same creative force behind it.
Now, I'm wondering, if RoboCop had some kind of injury on his back, can he just swivel his head around 360 degrees and work on that, or what's the situation?
I guess it depends on the mechanical connection. Like, not all joints can swivel 360 degrees, and especially if there's got wiring. It's not.
Well, most action figures, the head can go 360 degrees, so I'm inclined to believe that is the case.
Yeah, but that's a.
There is no difference between an action figure and a robot man. Not even in terms of size. It's all the same. Scale does not matter.
Yeah, unfortunately, when we're dealing with gears and no, you're not wrong, but it's more the fact that they're going, it's the wiring that I'm worried about.
Yeah,
because wiring being twisted and twisted and twisted and twisted and twisted.
Oh yeah, no, he has to go. Yeah, no, it's like an owl. He can go 360, but then you got to undo it again.
I'm just, that's actually thinking about it, like, how much head tilt do we see RoboCop have? I don't want to say a lot.
Yeah, because it's one of those things, if you were to do it in a movie, well, obviously the actor can't just do that, so you would have to actually prepare to do that effect. So, yeah. But you know what? This could have been a thing that they did in the remake. Fucking hell.
Yeah, there's so many things I could have done in the remake.
You know, it's a kind of a cliche thing, but you know, I can't think of a specific. Oh, maybe iRobot, but like you attack the robot and then they fall down and then they spin their head the other way and they look straight back up at you and then they push themselves back up onto their feet and yeah, it's so cool.
I'm trying to think which one of the which movies they've done that. They've done that in a few of them, but I was gonna say which they did that in Terminator, but I realized no. I think they did that in Terminator: Dark Fate. I think that was what the robots could do that.
No Time to Fate, Beyond Home, Resurrections, all the sequel names.
Dark Fate's the only third Terminator movie as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
As much as I love Genesis, because it's a dumb
God.
fucking film, it's so stupid. Yeah, Dark Fate's like the only. There's only 3 Terminator films, really.
I've made up a song. It's to the Jurassic Park thing. Because after I got strangely enraged about the latest Jurassic Park because they're bringing back everyone. Everyone looks fucking ancient, and it's just we have no ideas. We have no new ideas. Also, no, we have no new ideas. We have no new thoughts. That's right. Yeah. And that's...
Don't get copyright struck.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, that's basically the situation.
No, it's fair use. It's fair use. It's parody. It's fair use.
There's just nothing new in movies anymore. I went to see frickin' Doctor Strange, the 25th fucking Marvel movie, so I shouldn't be surprised. But yeah, all the trailers I was watching and going, okay, that's another sequel. That's another sequel. That's a remake. That's a sequel. Okay,
I will give credit for Doctor Strange. It was a really great Evil Dead 4.
Yeah.
Now, my take for Doctor Strange 2 was, if you like Evil Dead 2 and Spider-Man 2, this is pretty much those 2 movies just smashed together.
Yeah.
It's just pretty much Sam Raimi peak superhero and Sam Raimi peak B-grade horror film, and I loved it.
So, I'm thinking, does RoboCop have like implanted knowledge and skills, sort of like, whoa, I know Kung Fu, and he knows how to repair himself? Because, I mean, maybe he's just having a crack at it right now. He has no idea what the fuck he's doing. But, I mean, does he have like a manual in his head? He's got a little PDF open inside his visor there. I don't know.
Well, that's why he has to get the ratchet out to... No, it's the funny thing is, that's exactly what I just thought. Is like, he knew enough that he needed a tool to remove the bolts in his head to get the helmet off. That's not instinctual. Like,
yeah, because
trying to find the right hex head bolt ratchet off the cuff.
Yeah,
no, that's impossible. Just so happens he had a size 10.
Yeah, he knows exactly the kind of screwdriver head to get out of there. So, yeah, is he actually having to consult some kind of manual that's inside his, system, or is it actually implanted in his head as a memory? It's a skill he has not acquired, but just had implanted.
I'm just trying to recall, we don't really get any POV shots beyond the targeting system for the rest of this film, I believe.
Yeah, because we have. We know that Tex
diagnostics.
Yeah, because
he must have a diagnostic mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
must have
buy
a diagnostic mode.
Yeah.
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 Like.
Yeah.
It might not be like necessarily he's got like an overlay map of his entire body, but it's got to be some kind of. Yeah, maybe even instinctual kind of thing of like, I know what tool this is to get to here.
That would be interesting if he does have knowledge without knowing how he knows. It is almost like instinct where he just goes ahead and does it. He doesn't question why.
Yeah, I think this is the only time we actually see RoboCop ever repair himself to, more or less. I mean, even his targeting alignment, which we're going to get to in the next couple of minutes, like, he is somehow able to realign that by himself without, like, I don't know, like an apparatus.
Yeah, is it like a wheel alignment or,
He needs a paperclip and, like, and just to get Lewis to, push the button that's in the back of his head somewhere, the reset switch. Because it is funny because, like, he gets, like, really fucked up, like, next movie, like, fuck. And I think probably one of the most endearing things I think about this particular movie is that, he does get absolutely wrecked, and he has no resources, so he's literally in the steel factory. Just, I don't even know what that fucking tool is on his leg, but maybe it's just part of his leg, like, that pops out and you can just.
That would be handy.
Yeah, so I don't know how much.
It almost looks like a pair of scissors. It's a very weird shape. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching this movie for God knows how many years. I still have no idea what that thing is. Because, it's a weird shape, and I'm not sure if it's part of his leg or what, but, yeah.
Oh, maybe there's some kind of tension, what's not winch, what's the,
Like a ratchet strap?
Like a ratcheting, yeah, like that.
Yeah, ratcheting.
Ratcheting, yeah, he's sort of, so maybe that does just pop out of, your tension's wrong, so just play with that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because is it a pair of... I think it might actually... Oh! It's a pair of pliers.
I've never seen pliers being used like that.
If you go to minute 46, I keep saying that. If you go to second 46 on the minute, he's holding it in such a way you can actually see the bolt in between the head. That's a pair of pliers.
Huh.
Fuck.
He's using it in a really weird way.
He really, really is. But we also see the bottom of his toe beans as well, so that's cute.
Very cute little beans there.
Which is funny, because I'd imagine, like, his soul would have a bit more gripping action, but, who knows.
Why can't he just make his fingers turn into other tools? Just saying.
God. Well, yeah, like a welding torch. I mean, I guess they just opted for the spike capability and think that's it.
Yeah, the other ones you got to pay for the upgrades. They're not standard with the standard model.
Now that I'm looking at this as just a pair of pliers that you can get from anywhere, and I'm going, it's no. It looks like he might be holding a screwdriver in that in his other hand as well. Now I'm looking at it hyper-focusedly. Would OCP, the corporate entity that is OCP, actually give a shit to allow RoboCop to repair himself outside of this kind of context? Like,
nah, voids his warranty.
Like that. I think that's the thing as well. Like, from a corporate view, like, no. You just come back to here and you get repaired up until the point where we deactivate the project, and then you're kind of screwed.
I really would have loved it if this is a little bit of a tangent, but if RoboCop in the remake was kind of decked out like a fucking NASCAR with all the stickers and the ads and all that shit.
Oh, like what's his face from Mystery Man, Captain Heroic?
Yeah.
I love that costume for that gag.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, just go for it. Lean into it.
Yeah. We'll get to that when we get to RoboFlag, but yeah, it's...
Yeah, sorry to bring that up before we need to. God, what's wrong with me?
No. No, it's funny how, like, even though it's such a normalized thing for things like NASCAR, outside of that context, it's only ever been used for comedy. And which is funny because uniforms and logos...
Comedy is funny.
Yeah. No, but like... Yeah, comedy is funny. Hot takes. It is a normal thing for people to wear a uniform. Literally, like, Lewis is wearing an OCP cop uniform, and so there's a normality towards it. So the moment where you try and point that out, it's almost in and of itself part of the satire.
Yeah.
And taking it outside of that context would be amazing. Why doesn't RoboCop have more OCP livery except for like the letters on his helmet?
Yeah, I'm surprised about that.
I mean, even RoboFlag has a police badge etched into his chest.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of like that. That is one touch I do like.
yeah, I kind of like that too. Which also brings up the question, like, how officially is a cop is RoboCop in both contexts? Like, I think it works more in this one because OCP owns the cops, so therefore, they can just throw their robot man into the fray, as it were. Like, OCP can't say shit, so the cops can't say shit.
What's that? Oh, I know, we were talking about no, that's my notes.
I've got some script notes here. What's really annoying with the script is, like, it's almost like a page to describe the first 10 seconds of this minute. And then the dialogue is, wasn't sure what you needed, grabbed the things, and RoboCop saying, thanks.
Yep.
That's the dialogue. None of the, like, food and everything. And I like these two actors, and I like how they play off each other. And this is a great scene. It's a great breathing room after the other scene. And yeah, same as last minute. We've got these two central figures on both sides, and they are both cooperating with each other. There's a great symmetry between that.
I didn't think of that before. Yeah, we really do.
It's funny because we only get this one scene with Clarence and Dick, and it's a different energy between than Lewis and Murphy, or Lewis and RoboCop, but it's still the same kind of, like, they both know whose side they're on.
Yeah.
Could this have worked without Lewis? And I don't think it could have.
No, she's a very important character in the plot.
Yeah. For how much we say that the Lewis in the remake is such a non-character,
I know.
It's insulting when you think back to this particular version. It's like, why couldn't we have this?
Yeah, she is so integral to the plot, so in the remake, why does he play absolutely no role of significance?
Exactly. However, I'll go back to the book. There's a bit more banter, and it really, really is banter with a capital B. And I've just got to find the moment where I just was like, oh, what the fuck? She gazed at Robo's leg. He had stripped off some of the armor plating. His calf has now exposed a puzzle of inner workings. Flexible steel muscles, quotation, quivered with each slam of the hammerhead. Lewis dropped his satchel next to Robo with a thud. Robo looked up for the first time. His helmet, still mangled, looked horrifying. One human eye blinked at her. Maybe I should have dropped you off at an auto body shop, she said. I could have used the tools, he muttered, slamming his leg again.
Yeah, I actually like that, and they knew it was satire going into this movie, but I like that in the end, they play the performances very straight.
Yeah, well, this is where you get into, like, the idea of, like, comedy straight man. And the comedy straight man's job is to make the comedy better by being, like, the guy reacting to the absurdity.
Yeah.
So, funny enough, you can get a lot of good comedy by everyone playing it damn straight. This is literally fucking Arnold Rimmer. He's often the comedy straight man.
Yeah, I think the one I always think of is Rowan Atkinson as Blackadder. I think he's my favorite straight man. Because he is just so arrogant, and he's not wrong sometimes. Like, he is intelligent, and depending on which version, he's talented in certain ways, but it's just, I don't know, he's just so up himself that ends up being his downfall.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of Blackadder's downfall is hubris, or Blackadder's one of those great characters because Blackadder never fails due to his own incompetence. First season probably aside, but it's almost always the world or something else that turns it against him. Like, Baldrick's a prime example for that, because he's the comedy sidekick, and Blackadder gives Baldrick a job, and Baldrick either fails at it or succeeds spectacularly to his detriment.
Yeah. And I guess when you play an entire comedy, I guess you could call this, with everyone playing it straight. I mean, yeah, do we call them straight men? I guess so. Or is it only when you've got the more straight up comedic characters to play off of?
Well, RoboCop he's not. I would say RoboCop's not exactly a comedy. It's satire, which is comedic. Yeah. But it's satire. Part of it is about pointing out absurdities or the real world and absurdities within the real world. It's one of the reasons why satire kind of died a few years ago in the real world, because absurdity couldn't match reality.
Yep.
Look at the political landscape. And so this movie being very satirical, it works for all the actors to not be winking to the camera and trying to get a laugh.
That's what it was, yeah. The kind of self-awareness or the winking at the camera. If they had done that in RoboCop, I think that would have ruined it.
Yeah. I will say, I think one of the problems with the remake is that they're so deeply aware of this being a RoboCop film, and they keep trying to play off that, and it never worked. It never works.
No.
I do have some commentary notes before we go into RoboFlag.
Oh, okay. Before that, I just had a thought. So, RoboCop eats food. That fuels his organic components, but does that also do anything for his mechanical parts?
Ooh.
Does he have two different sources of energy? Not sure.
Well, that's it. We know he goes to recharge in quotation marks on the chair. He has to have a battery. He has to have a way of an internal power source that's not connected. His mechanics aren't just powered by his biology.
Yeah.
We do not produce that much electricity.
No.
Was it not even enough to light a bulb?
Pathetic.
So,
The Matrix was a bad idea.
No, that's the funny thing about the Matrix. Yeah, like literally the worst thing they could have done, the robots could have done, was use humans as energy sources, because it's
just use fucking solar power. You blocked out the sun. Think this through.
That was the comment, is that they blocked out the sun, so the robots went, we need another power supply. Humans, not geothermal, which the humans use and is better.
I mean, even solar. I mean, they could just have little drones floating up above the clouds.
Apparently it's not that hard to get above the clouds.
Yeah, I mean, Trinity did it. She wasn't even trying.
Or, wind farms and just blow it away. I don't know.
Yeah, I assume there's still wind. It looks very stormy in the future of Zion.
Yeah, no, the thing that my brain just melted on was the idea that, well, he takes in food, a solid material, to keep his organics running. That stuff doesn't magically disappear.
Yeah, does he make dookies?
Yeah, Robo Dookies.
It's just this little, like, what do they call that? Stock cube? And
like a platypus crap.
Yeah.
It comes out in a little cube.
Yeah.
Or, no, I was actually going to go the other extreme is, what if that's what's used to power his other cells? Like, like his waste is used to produce the energy by, I don't know, like burning it off, or lubrication.
Lubrication.
Because, well, baby poo is not exactly a solid.
No.
Because it's processed baby food.
Yep.
Well, extra processed baby food. So, again, no, I don't even want to think about his...
I know, now I'm going down the rabbit hole of, wait, what foods are actually coming out in number twos? You know, like, if you eat something soft, how much of that is coming out the front, how much is coming out the back?
That's it. That's what I'm getting at is fluid transfer, because he's got to have pneumatics, he's got to have lubrication. Does RoboCop just smell of baby crap? Just ew. Maybe that's not oil pouring out of his armor. Ew. We've taken this to a weird place.
Yeah. What do we?
So in the commentary, they mostly are gushing about this environment. Before we get to that, though, they talk about the tracker prop, and apparently they hate that prop. They all of them hate that prop. But they do point out that it's, as much as they hate the prop and like how kind of chitsy it is, it solves a very big storytelling dilemma of how Boddicker finds Murphy. So, who's to say if it's good or bad? I would probably say it's better than, like, an extra half an hour of the film explaining nothing.
Yeah, I don't feel like well, there's a lot of explaining going on in a lot of American movies, and I kind of feel like most of the time we got it. It's not even just, I'm watching a movie from the 80s and I'm in 2022, so film language has evolved. No, there's modern films, especially the Marvel ones that we keep mentioning. They explain so much. Like, I fucking got it, dude.
Oh, just my brain went to Suicide Squad, the non-the version, where they have to keep pointing out Enchantress's heart is the. They keep pointing out that Enchantress's heart is her weakness up until literally the last moment, and it's like, yeah, we get it. We get it. It's the one plot point you fucking keep telling us about.
It's the only plot point you have.
Yeah. No, the over explanation of movies now is just ridiculous. Yeah. That feels like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it before, but oh god, yeah, I hate that. The term they keep coming up with when they're talking about this particular minute and this particular scene and this particular setting is mythic in the commentary. They keep saying the word mythic. And that got me thinking. I guess so. There's almost an ethereal quality to this particular setting. Like, it's actually quite, for it being like in this darkened area, the light is relatively soft.
It's kind of beautiful and dreamlike, and it feels like it's that beautiful quiet time, early hours of the morning, sun's sort of up but not too high in the sky, and it's just, there's something. This is a moment to breathe, and I think it's very important for movies to have these moments. Looking at you, Michael Bay, or the Fast and the Furious films, that you just can't be all go go go. You gotta sit down and stop every once in a while.
Yeah, and if you go to like literally the right ass end of this minute, you got this close up of Lewis. Particularly when she's holding up the jar of baby food, and like she's well lit. She's got some highlights coming in from the right hand side where you can see the windows in the back room. But even in the shadow, it's not completely obscured black. It's incredibly well lit, and it's a bit soft. And I love Anne Lewis even more. It's actually a really great shot of her. And it's almost motherly in a weird way.
Yeah.
With when she's holding the baby food, because it is kind of just because it is so soft, and you can see her earring, and it's like she's not shot in a way that's
it's the first time we've seen her without armor on. I think she's had that armor on the entire time.
I think also it helps that we're looking up to her as well, so it's
it's kind of this Madonna thing happening.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it until I was like going over this minute a bit closely, just trying to pull anything out of my ass for it. But it is genuinely a really good shot. And as a photographer, I'd kill to be able to have a good light setup like that.
And these things are probably just happy coincidences most of the time.
Well, I was going to bring it up next minute because it's a bit more pertinent. Because something I was reading something in the IMDb, and I've got to re-find it. But apparently, Rob Bottin, who was the special effects guy, he worked on the makeup and all that, and the RoboCop suit. He wanted this scene to be shot in a different way, a bit more darker, because he wanted to kind of hide some of the blemishes of the makeup and the costume and all that. And Paul wanted it to be lighter. And again, to give it a bit more of this ethereal quality. And apparently they got into a massive argument about it. And Paul obviously got his way. And apparently Rob absolutely fucking hated Paul for it. I'll try and find the full thing next minute. What's really funny is that he allegedly said some nasty things about the director and vowed never to work with him again. Up until Total Recall, when it's just like, I think he saw the movie and saw how good it was, like the lighting and everything, and how good the suit looks, and went, yeah, he was kind of right. And
Yeah, I think there's a certain line where, you're at work and you're doing your job, and then your boss or whatever has different ideas of how it should be done, and you can say, I don't think you should do it that way, but in the end, you kind of have to just back down.
Yeah. I mean, this is always going to be the tension in collaboration sometimes, is where two artists have an idea, and all fair due to Rob Bottin, he knows that too much light on a special effect, especially if it looks hokey, can be very detrimental. Whereas Paul is looking at it from an aspect of, no, he doesn't want this to be a dark scene. He wants it to be light. He wants to show, the soft light and give it this ethereal quality. So, yeah, how much CGI is now shot in the dark because it's actually easier to hide CGI that way. It doesn't look quite as garish.
And yet, District 9 went the opposite way and shot in harsh light so that you couldn't see the limitations of the visual effects. And it looks great to this day.
Yeah, I love District 9. I really need to go and rewatch that again. It's such a great...
Yeah, God, I mean, it's been 13 years. Still looks great.
It also helps that it's deliberately shot as a documentary style. So it's got those aesthetics. And that's not an easy thing to achieve. The technology does get better, but our brains are still mammalian and will spot something we know that that's not an alien walking around there, so our brain just gets triggered. And sometimes give credit where it's due, with Avatar, it looks really good. It doesn't have a plot, but it looks really good.
Yeah.
Shall we continue on, or you got anything else to say?
No, we good.
Alex, how do you feel? I feel fine, Dr. Norton.
Alright, minute 87 begins with and ends with Sam Jackson, and minute 88 begins with Clara crying again and ends with another board meeting with OCP.
Emphasis on the board, eh?
They're posed like they're a band. Like that, when you first cut to them, that is their album cover.
I must admit, of all the things I'd say about this movie, I kind of like it when we keep going back to Keaton.
You know what? I think he's one of the strongest aspects of the film, and even visually, I think those scenes, the composition, the lighting, everything like that, is very well done.
It really is a movie that's more about Raymond Sells than it is about RoboCop. And I think the cinematography really helps sell that. But yeah, this is more Sam Jacks being Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, and the whole argument here is that RoboCop has outed the police as corrupt, and this is further evidence that a automated machine police force would be superior because they can't be corrupted. And it's like, well, yeah, technically a machine can't be corrupted in the way that you're thinking of, but have you ever heard of hacking? Have you heard of hacking, my friend? Because that's a thing that definitely happens.
Doesn't need to be hacked for it to not work against society.
Yeah, I mean, you're assuming that the people who are programming this machine and the people who are putting it out into the streets have the best intentions.
Yeah, exactly it. But again, we're finally getting to the real plot of this movie, which is, why do we not need humans when we can have robots policing our entire world? Because corporate wants it to.
Yep.
It's taken 87 minutes for it to get to its first plot point.
Very deep message there. Now, on top of Clara's TV, she has those fucking white bitch ball of I don't know, wool. What the fuck is it supposed to be? They look like balls of wool, but they're actually made out of wood. It's like
I know. I'm skipping through to try and find the TV.
Second 52, and those things.
Oh,
Every
yeah, God.
housewife has them in their. My mum has them. I don't know
it's
what
like
they
twine
are.
That's been
Yeah, like straw or something. And they're not. They don't look good. They look like fucking tumbleweeds. Bitch, dust your TV. There's tumbleweeds on top of it. Like, what? I hate them. Spotlight ass piece of shit. Well, I guess people internationally they don't.
They are. They're like fucking Tumblr craft store shit.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone. Well, I guess Spotlight isn't international, but like any craft store, just fucking that. Yeah, generic Pinterest bullshit. I'm so mad at these balls of twine that aren't twine.
I don't know which fucking one I'm going to use for the ding, but that entire tarot cannot just fit into the title, which is going to be annoying.
We should put that on a t-shirt, like, you know how the B movie, people put that in really tiny font.
God.
These are two really weird episodes. I don't know, man.
We're just inventing content, but that's pretty
I stayed out.
minutes.
I had a nap for like 3 hours yesterday. Obviously, I wasn't feeling well, but then I really perked up around, I don't know, 7 p.m. and then I was writing fan fiction until midnight. So I don't know, man.
But no.
Detroit Become Human fan fiction, if you're curious, because no, I don't stray far from the RoboCop premise. Detroit, robots, it's all I know.
Let's face it, when we're dealing with someone like RoboFlag, we've got to invent our own fun.
Yeah.
And for me, it's notoriously nitpicking how shit this film is.
Yeah, what is it? I wrote my own mental fan fiction about the original RoboCop, and I haven't really done that with RoboFlag, although we have intentionally written new scenarios.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised you didn't bring that up when Boudica killed Morton.
Yeah.
This movie. I'm surprised you didn't bring it up there. It's like, wait, it's a bit of a shame that these two friends are now hating each other.
Well, I didn't think they were friends. I just thought he hired him, and then Dick paid Vodka more or something, and then he turned on. Anyway.
No, you're supposed to kill the other guy.
Ah, shit. I'm fucking
What
idiot.
am I paying you for? Oh.
Yeah, because I thought, oh, shit, like, he let him into his house because he was just like, oh, yeah, it's Vodka already. Know. Oh, shit, yeah. So, yeah, I'm dumb. Look, I do five different movies per minute podcasts. Things are going to get lost.
Yeah, that would be... Oh, God, that would be hilarious. We're recording RoboCop, and it's just like, yeah, I hate that fucking xenomorph when he turns up and starts eating... Oh, shit.
Anyway, I think this ties in really beautifully to, you know, the whole transhumanist theme of Peter Wayland. And, oh, yeah, fuck, wrong movie.
No, that actually is pretty good. Like, you got a good parallel between Sellers and Wayland.
Actually, yeah.
Corporate
True.
stooge.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If I want to just punish myself, do an episode of, like, a special episode of one of my Movies by Minute podcasts, but it's just referencing every single other one of them. Just...
That's the April Fool's one. You somehow switch universes, every single one.
Yeah. Every 5 minutes I enter a new universe.
Yeah, so you start off doing Alien prequels by minute, and all of a sudden you're talking about RoboCop, and then
Christine.
You switch into Christine, then you switch into, and you just don't talk about the actual podcast you're supposed to be talking about.
No. I wonder. That's an interesting art house project.
I
So,
think we've done that a few times with the April Fools, but
Yeah.
we'll find another one.
Yes.
It's probably Rotor. It's going to be Rotor. We know that.
but yeah, in minute 88, we have 3 paintings behind Sellers, and
Yeah, I was just trying to have a look at that.
so this is, I don't know if this is the same room, but it's definitely a different angle. I don't think we've seen this corner before.
It's the same room because as it scrolls along, you see the armor, the robot mannequins in the display cases again.
I don't know what these paintings are. They look like they were made for the movie. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's a little too appropriate.
Yeah, but they also look very generic.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It looks like he just bought them at friggin' Kmart or whatever.
He bought them where fucking Clara got the goddamn balls of twine. Bastards.
I'm so mad about those balls.
I do like that. I'm not sure how intentional this was. It should be, because literally one of these characters is in darkness. Like you got the two corporate stooges sitting on the table, lit up. Sellers is half in light, so obviously they've illuminated the table. But Rorschach, I can never remember Rorschach's fucking character's name. But Rorschach,
Jackie Earl Haley. It's a weird name.
no, I mean his character's name in this movie.
Oh, yeah, Rorschach.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Rorschach, yeah. And he's in darkness, and it feels like this should be saying something, but I don't think it really is. I think they just didn't bother to change lights. And realistically speaking, you really should not light an actor, especially a big actor, in your film like that. But yeah,
Rorschach's just not getting any light at all. That's just, wouldn't you? Unless they're just trying to use what light is in the environment to be more realistic. I don't get that.
yeah, but then point a light at him from the ceiling. Like, add a fucking light, man.
It's just so bizarre, because everyone else looks pretty great. So I was saying this looks like their band cover, their album cover.
Yeah, by the time they got on the 180, everyone's in shadow and litting like Laura. So it's not like he's lit from behind either. He's in shadow the entire time.
So this is their album cover, and he's a less popular band member and clearly pissed off the photographer. So that's
it's the secret. Was it which one of the, is it Paul who's supposed to be dead in one of the
Yes.
Beatles covers?
Yeah.
Is it Help?
I think so.
The secret dead Beatle?
It's
Or is it the...
oh my god, I can't believe Paul is dead, the album.
Well, it's because the semaphore... Well, I think it's because of Help is not actually semaphore for help. And, like, people have made the words that they actually are... The letters they are... This is a fucking tangent.
Yeah.
The letters they're holding, people have said that, oh, it's to verify that Paul McCartney secretly died. And it's like, you just... fucking hell. Just stop.
It's funny, like, Paul McCartney hasn't looked different at any point in his life. However,
No, not really.
some friends of mine many years ago, we were watching, it was something with William Shatner in it, and a friend of mine said, isn't it weird how he just totally changed his face? Really, he looks like a different person. And then I don't know how we were trying to figure out, when did Elvis die, and then we came up with this character called Jackson Valor, which is a name I still use. That's my fan fiction pseudonym, Jackson Valor.
Nice. That's a great
So our story was that Elvis had died, didn't want to be a singer anymore. William Shatner didn't want to be associated with Star Trek, so he took over as an Elvis impersonator, and William Shatner is actually Elvis, or some really convoluted bullshit like that we made up.
You're making Bubba Hotep fanfic.
It's basically Bubba Hotep, and then so Shatner is an Elvis impersonator, and then Elvis wants his life back. So then they fight, and it's like this battle across Las Vegas. And
The funny thing is, if you would do that as a TV show thing, it would be William Shatner playing Elvis fighting William Shatner.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because he would totally do that.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, so my point being that, yeah, William Shatner is the kind of guy who has changed over time. Paul McCartney has not. I don't know how to tie this into RoboCop, but here we are.
I would argue that Shatner has three forms like Pokemon. He's got
Yes.
60s Shatner, Star Trek Shatner,
Yeah.
80s TJ Hooker, and
Yes.
then 2000s Danny Crane.
Yes, perfect.
That's his evolutions.
Yes. And then Mark Hamill's another one I was going to mention. Like, you got the twink phase, and then you've got Empire Strikes Back post-operation on his face after the accident phase. And then you've got Joker, husky voice and beardy old man. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, RoboCop.
Yeah.
So at the end of this minute, you've got Clara.
I cannot be contained by one podcast. I'll talk about whatever I
Clara
want.
going about how Omnicorp has not let her see Murphy for weeks or months or some bullshit. And it's like...
Does she really want to, though?
Yeah. But the funny thing is, there's time compression in storytelling. That's fine. But it needs to be felt when there's supposed to be a significant portion of time. And the problem is, in the last, 10, 15 minutes, it does not feel like it's been weeks. It really doesn't. It doesn't feel like RoboCop was like a montage would have helped them.
I mean, the movie in general feels like I've lost years of my life to it. And I guess I have, but...
Yeah, the movie is, of course, stealing our life force as we watch it. But, days feel like weeks because, it's stealing 10 years out of our lives per minute. But no, like, by the time that RoboCop... I keep saying this, and it's so absurd. Like, he literally loses humanity and gets it back within 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
During that time, he's met his wife for that one brief scene. He's solved his own murder. And now it's like... It's been weeks? And there doesn't feel like there's been any time in between. Like, how long has RoboCop been out of commission? Like, it just feels like he collapsed 2 seconds ago. It's not like, after RoboCop foiled his assassination attempt last week or 2 weeks ago, he's still in critical condition. Like, there's not even a context clue to tell you that until it's like, I haven't seen him for weeks. She literally just saw him 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't know how... Well, especially this late stage of the story, how you establish any real sense of loss and feeling there between the family. That was the most important thing of this story. I think they wanted to tell it as this family drama, but obviously that never
doesn't
panned
work.
out. Yeah, I mean, you have to really care about these characters, and I actually have a really great example. Gone Girl. I love Gone Girl. It's one of David Fincher's best movies, and the book is great too.
I haven't watched that in a while.
And it really, because I was reading the book and then I went back and watched the movie just to see how they handled things that took ages to establish in the book. You go through a marriage over the course of years.
Yeah.
And the movie does a really great job of they meet at a party and their dialogue is just on fire. They have this perfect banter. It tells you everything about their characters. It's just, perfection. I would say if anyone wants to write chemistry between characters, that's a great scene to look at. And we never had any sort of fun between Clara and Murphy. There wasn't... I mean, he comes home from work and he's just like, yeah, hello family, fuck off. And then they have this mournful sex scene.
I guess we should have the sex now.
It is just so devoid of any humanity. Whereas, if they had any jokes together or any... I think that goes a long way to establish a relationship. I don't know why I'm thinking of Zoe and Wash in Firefly. And I can't remember the specifics, but I remember loving those two, even from the first few moments I saw them, because there was just this cute, quirky, unusual relationship between the two of them, and
That it helps you get an understanding of their relationship, and it doesn't feel forced. It feels like these are two people who are comfortable with each other, and they have a dialogue, they have a banter. Everyone in Firefly, bar the new people on the show, you get a sense of they've been together for a while.
Yeah.
Even if they don't necessarily like each other, that's good emotive storytelling.
there's a sense of history there.
Actors and
Yeah,
characters. Yeah.
and
we
yet
don't get that here.
no, there's no sense
We
of
get
history.
more of it in the original movie, and she's in a flashback.
I've seen more backstory and humanity in a fucking Target commercial, you know. You know, so we got these two very generic blonde, attractive people and a generic child, and what do? They just sort of stand around in this house and do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, the blandest family on the planet, yeah.
It's not even, oh, Dad, can you do that gun twirl thing like TJ Laser?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, damn. Well, as I said, like, when we see the flashbacks in the original movie, we get it's framed as a sense of loss, and it is a loss, because he has lost everything.
Yeah, we only see his wife so briefly, as you were saying. And yet I feel so much more about her. I mean, there was something more, I don't know, sensual, at least in one of the takes of his memory.
Oh, yeah.
And there's something so loving, and there was a sense of intimacy. Or even when they play it again and she's angry at him.
Yeah.
It's more, it's passion, it's intensity. They're both versions of his memory were intense, and they had significance.
Even his interaction with his kid, like, he's doing this dumb gun twirling thing, and he's kind of like, yeah, my kid likes it, so I'm doing this thing.
Yeah, or seeing them in their Halloween costumes, or just
Yes!
little bits and pieces that are showing a life and people who do people things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what they're trying to do is, like, this is just a day in the life of these people, and a bad thing happened. But I do not feel any connection. I don't think I feel any connection to any of these characters, if I'm being perfectly honest. I have more of a emotive connection to Cell, because I just see him as the evil douchebag corporate asshole.
He's the only one having any kind of fun. He's
Oh,
proactive. He's doing some interesting things. I like the idea that he's thrown the police under the bus there. That's cool. Okay.
In many ways, he is the protagonist of this movie.
I hate when there, I guess, a family or a couple or any characters like that in a movie. You know, there's a tragedy or something, and you go, I should be feeling something, but I don't, and I hate that hollow feeling. Because you just, it's like when you're playing a video game and there's a glitch and you're suddenly awoken to the reality of, oh, yeah, it's all an illusion. It's all just, none of this is real. And it's the same thing with a movie.
Suspension of disbelief is a major thing, and especially in movies like this, where you need to be sold on the basic premise, because it is so fantastical. Like, we don't question... Because we've been talking about Doctor Strange so much, I can't help it. We don't question Doctor Strange. We know he's a magical man with magic powers.
Yeah.
It's a complete breaking of reality, but we've got a highly charismatic actor with a bunch of highly charismatic actors who can take this ludicrous notion and really do something with it. Whereas we've got a bunch of... In this movie, we've got a bunch of competent actors. But say what you will about this, most of this movie is terrible from a script writing perspective, or at least, you know, it's not performance that's really killing this movie. It's just everything around them. It's like a fucking Zack Snyder film.
These minutes actually balance each other quite well between the original film and the remake, in terms of, we've just seen two great scenes with very charismatic actors playing off of each other. And now we're seeing the opposite in the remake, where, you know, they've actually spent way more time developing the family and the sense of loss and all of that stuff, and it amounts to nothing because you didn't actually let them be real people. And there's never a moment when I'm watching the original RoboCop where I'm thinking of them as actors. Of course, when I'm doing movies by minute, I am having to force myself to, but I'm always saying Lewis. I'm not saying, speaking using their actors' names. Although in the last episode, I think I might have done that.
We are so on board with these characters and so on board with the performance and everything like that we don't go, this is Peter Weller's RoboCop doing this thing. This is... you say Kurtwood Smith a few times, but we're also talking about, IMDb kind of shit.
It's also a fun name to say.
Oh, yeah, Kurtwood Smith's a great name. But we are sold on these characters. We're 77 minutes into this movie, and we are just absolutely gasping for the next thing to happen. Not boredom, but because we're excited. We're coming up to the big finale, and we're at the calm before the storm, and we're probably reaching to get content in for this dumb podcast, but at the same time, there is so much cool stuff to talk about. And we're 88 minutes into the remake, and it feels like plot progression wise, where we should be doing this 20 minutes earlier. This is the end of Act 2, essentially. The RoboCop's fallen down, gone boom.
Yeah.
If we want to call that as the punch mark, where in the first movie and this in the second movie, it shouldn't have been this long. It really is, and we've still got almost an hour's worth of content to go in this remake, and it does not need to be there. It really does not need to be there.
Just looking in the Murphy house, looking around the back. I'm not going to talk about the tumbleweed yarn balls again, but just thinking in terms of how they've decided to style the family or the house. Or there's no quirkiness or personality or individuality. There's nothing. It looks like a commercial for furniture.
It is literally everything that's was literally in the Hollywood store for furnishing. It's probably it could have actually been a house on the Paramount lot kind of deal where they just literally went in to film it. It's the same shit that's in every single at least Tommy Wiseau put pictures of spoons in the frames.
Yeah.
So I just saw a picture in the background. It's just I can't see what it is. It's just a person on white background. I'm it just feels like the most generic thing possible.
Yep.
It's a house full of clutter, but doesn't say anything. It's just, I have books on shelf.
Yes. Oh yeah, I wonder what they are. They're probably just random, cookbooks and stuff that they had.
Books on growing grass. The most blandest things possible.
Watching
paint dry.
Yeah, watching paint dry.
Oh, God. I was just trying to think of the most Arnold Rimmery things possible, and I was like, competitive toenail clipping collections or something like that. Just.
Oh, God.
I must admit, I think one of my dream jobs would be alt text writing for a video game, where it's you get Mass Effect, where you got hundreds of planets of random text that nobody reads.
Yeah,
I would love to be a writer and do that. Just make weird shit and try and hide as many Easter eggs as possible, and make some of the just dumbest stuff possible. Not necessarily come up with the names of the planets, but coming up with the flavor text.
Yeah. I'm trying to... Oh, man, I'm normally quicker on that, but I'm trying to think. And all my brain goes to is the whole scene about the Arcturian poon in Aliens.
God, it's been a while since I've seen that. I don't recall the Arcturian...
Wasn't that one male? Don't matter if it's Arcturian.
I must admit, that's one of the things I love about sci-fi is when you can get away with just writing some weird fucking kinky shit and no one's really going to catch on.
Bullshitting, yeah.
There's the whole Star Trek thing where it's the rule of three, where you have two normal things and an alien thing. The famous composers like Bach and Chopin and Glucksfort from Planet Neck. that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. It's cheesy, but I love it.
Yeah.
Except when they name drop Elon Musk as one of the greatest inventors of all fucking time.
Oh,
Fuck
no.
you, Discovery.
Oh no.
Yeah, they did that.
I mean,
They name dropped Elon Musk like he was a smart person.
well, I mean, they've been doing that with Edison for over a century, so businessmen are not inventors.
Yeah, but at least Edison was smart enough to steal everything.
True.
Well, okay, so is technically Elon Musk, but yeah, he bought Telstra.
Telstra.
He
Yeah.
bought Tesla and didn't. He should have just renamed it Edison. It would be more fitting.
Yes. Yes.
I'm all noted out.
Yeah. I'm done. So, where can the lovely listeners find you?
They can find me ranting and raving over at Helios Photos and Fandom Crossing. I maybe, once I've got actual time on my hands, go back to Kung Pao Enter the Minute. But where can the lovely viewers find you?
You can find me at triviandesigns.com, at patreon.com/triviandesigns, and YouTube under my name, Courtney Colson, and Greatest Regeneration, and Courtney and Ivy on Instagram.
What are you up to on the Greatest Regeneration?
Well, we've just gotten into May now, and I have not updated it in a while. We're probably getting into the good, the classic blockbusters. I mean, you got Blade Runner coming out in 1982, you got Tron, you got so many things, so I gotta make sure I don't miss that.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a few cool things coming out by now, surely, in 1982. God, even, maybe Return of the Jedi? Was that 82 as well?
Ooh, maybe, or 83.
Was that 83? Yeah, okay. We've got to wait till next year.
Yeah. So you can find us where all good and bad podcasts are found, and that would be at Spotify, YouTube. Definitely give us some, likes and subscribes and all that, and hit bells and all that. I don't know. And
Maybe we'll one day reach triple digits.
yes, and we're at Simplecast. That's where we upload directly to. And follow us on Instagram. We are 60 Seconds to Comply there, and we're also on Twitter.
We don't. Funny enough, we don't even do the Facebook shout-outs for 60 seconds.
Yeah, I keep forgetting we have a Facebook, because I don't do the Facebook. I cover the Instagram and
Yeah,
Twitter.
I do, but I keep forgetting that we've got Twitter, Instagram, all the social media portals. So we might get more traction if we keep whoring them out.
Yes, maybe. Well, unless people just switch off by the time we wrap up the episode. But
Yeah, fair go. You have to get past RoboFlag to get to it.
all right, until next time.
I guess my RoboCock is on strike.